I have a pencil in my hand. What is this pencil good for? What all can be done with this pencil? Write words and numbers? What if I told you that this pencil can make this with the help of a photo source? Have you ever wanted to make artistic masterpieces? Are you the next Leonardo da Vinci? If I can make fantastic art pieces, so can you, given the proper technique. I've completed AP Anatomy and Life Drawing 1 and 2 in high school, as well as attended the Art Institute of Dallas for 2 semesters with a primary focus in professional drawing. Anyone can draw using the following technique. Draw your outline, fill in the contour lines, and simply touch up at the end. My first drawing in high school was bad. It was so terrible that I decided to rip it up and throw it away. My teacher noticed and gave me some tips on drawing. He inspired and motivated me to try harder and taught me some really good drawing techniques. This, however, was my second drawing in high school. It's not a bad drawing, but there are some flaws in it. Usually on a drawing of someone who's right-handed, they start from the top left of the drawing and work their way to the bottom right. As you can see, it looks better in this area than it does over here. And also some of the hardware is a little proportionate off in this drawing. This drawing was my last drawing in high school when I was a senior. As you can see, it has a lot more fine details in this drawing, such as the fingernails, the glares are much wider, and the darks are much darker. There's almost no blacks in comparison with these two pictures, much more black in this picture. Getting started can be the most tedious step. Drawing the outline is the first stage to a drawing. You'll need a decently sized photo or print of what you're going to be drawing. Using a ruler, lightly draw grid lines horizontally and vertically across your paper. Then, count the squares in your paper and draw the same number and proportion of squares on your photo source. Then, you can lightly fill in the contour lines from your photo source onto your paper. An HB pencil is perfect for outlines, as it is not too dark and not too light. Quote by artist Brian Dewey. Brian Dewey mentioned an HB pencil. Art pencils are noted with an H or a B or both sometimes. The H stands for hard and the B stands for black. An H pencil is going to be a harder pencil because it has less lead in it, therefore it leaves a lighter mark. However, a B pencil is going to have more lead and it's going to be a softer pencil which will leave a more bright, vibrant mark. Finally, erase your grid lines without messing up your contour lines. This is an example of what your paper should look like when the grid lines are complete. Then, use the same proportion of squares on your photo source as well. Your photo source should look something like this, with squares running horizontally and vertically across the page. Then, the next step is to transfer the contour lines from your photo source onto your paper, as I've done here. It's the same proportion. The final step for this is to erase your grid lines, and then you're left with the contour lines for your drawing. Outlining is the hard stage to a drawing. Shading is what truly makes a drawing stand out. Shading, or filling in the contour lines, is what brings a drawing to life. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. Quote by artist Edgar Degas. It is important to not draw the objects you see in a drawing, but rather to draw the lines and shadows you see within the given area. It is recommended to work from light to dark. You can always darken a drawing, however, you cannot make it lighter. Circular motions are highly recommended in drawing. Circular strokes are smoother and overall easier to blend. Sometimes non-circular strokes are necessary, such as detailing textures in nature, like wood, grass, sand, or etc. Fine details can make or break your piece. Texture, shadows, and glares will make your piece dynamic and appear to pop off the page. However, some drawings, such as abstract, are not meant to have fine details. This is an example of shading. In step 1, we have our contour lines drawn out with no grid lines. In step 2, you simply fill in the shading you see from your photo source. When the shading is complete, some mistakes might be noticed in the drawing. Touching up is a very important step near the end of a drawing. When the project appears near completion, the artist can usually point out mistakes in his or her drawing. Lighter areas often need brushed up with an eraser, while darker areas often need darkened to fix some of the smearing which could have lifted some of the lead off the paper. Over the charcoal, I added a layer of 8B. This last layer took me the longest because I was adding it with more pressure. Quote by artist Lysandra. Lastly, apply a layer of UV sheen to prevent UV light damage and prevent smudging. If you follow these steps, drawing can be simple and enjoyable. Anyone can draw using the following steps: drawing your outline, filling in the contour lines, and simply touching up at the end. The next time you see a drawing, just remember that you could draw something just like it. Thank you.